If you were to dive into the oceans of the Permian period 270 million years ago, you wouldn't just be stepping back in time. You would be stepping onto an alien world. Long before the first dinosaurs walked the earth, the seas were ruled by biological experiments that defied all modern logic. And out in the crushing depths of this prehistoric ocean lurked a predator that possessed the most baffling weapon nature ever engineered. Imagine a shark like Leviathan, as long as a modern school bus, gliding silently through the abyss. But instead of a normal jaw, it is equipped with a perfectly circular rotating buzzsaw made of razor-sharp teeth. For over a century, this creature, known as Helicoprion or the spiral saw, was paleontology's greatest unsolved puzzle. Today, we are going to dive into the dark waters of the Permian to discover how this mechanical nightmare worked, what it hunted, and how modern science finally cracked the 100-year mystery of the buzzsaw beast. To understand the mystery of Helicoprion, we first have to understand the cruel nature of fossilization. Many of the best Helicoprion fossils have been found in the United States, specifically in the mountains of Idaho. While Idaho is famous today for its rugged forests, hundreds of millions of years ago, tectonic plates positioned it at the bottom of a deep marine trench. When researchers first cracked open these ancient oceanic rocks, they didn't find full skeletons. Instead, they found perfectly preserved, tight spirals of serrated teeth that looked like they belonged on industrial woodworking equipment. But where was the rest of the animal? The problem is that Helicoprion, much like modern sharks, did not possess a skeleton made of heavy bone. Its entire framework was built from cartilage, the exact same flexible tissue that makes up the human nose and ears. While cartilage is incredibly lightweight and perfect for high-speed swimming, it decomposes rapidly. When a Helicoprion died, its flesh and cartilage dissolved into the ocean current. The only things tough enough to survive the fossilization process were its teeth. This left scientists with an out-of-context black box of a creature, sparking one of the wildest guessing games in the history of science. Nature is no stranger to bizarre adaptations, and for decades, scientists simply didn't know where to put this terrifying spiral tooth whorl. Was it an evolutionary mistake? Was it a bizarre defensive mechanism? Throughout the 20th century, brilliant paleontologists tried to solve the puzzle, leading to some truly hilarious and terrifying artistic reconstructions. Some scientists argued the spiral was mounted on the creature's nose, acting like a spiked battering ram. Others thought it hung precariously off the lower lip like a curled elephant trunk. A few extreme theories even suggested it was attached to the dorsal fin, or that it dragged behind the animal on a whip-like tail. It wasn't until 2013 that technology caught up with history. Using high-powered CT scanners, a team of researchers analyzed a uniquely well-preserved specimen that contained the faintest ghost-like traces of the original skull cartilage. The scans provided a definitive answer. The buzzsaw didn't hang off the nose or the tail. It sat perfectly upright, entirely enclosed inside the center of the lower jaw. So, how do you eat with a circular saw in your mouth? The CT scans revealed a biological mechanism that is nothing short of mechanical genius. Modern sharks are famous for constantly losing and replacing their teeth. When a tooth breaks, it simply falls out and a new one rotates forward. Helicoprion did something completely different. It never lost a single tooth. Instead, as the animal grew, new teeth would form at the front of the jaw. To make room, the older, smaller teeth were pushed backward and curled inward, spiraling deep into the root of the jaw. This created a living conveyor belt. When Helicoprion bit down, the entire spiral was forced slightly backward. It didn't just chomp, it actively sliced. As the jaw closed, the teeth would rotate through the flesh of its prey in a smooth mechanical sweeping motion. Nature hadn't built a trap, it had built a highly efficient meat slicer. But what kind of prey requires a buzzsaw to defeat? Helicoprion spent its life patrolling the twilight zone of the Permian Ocean, operating at depths of up to 1,000 meters. Down in the faint blue shadows, stealth and precision were the keys to survival. Its primary targets were ammonites, ancient relatives of the modern squid that lived inside hard, coiled shells. When Helicoprion struck an ammonite, it didn't use massive, bone-crushing force like a modern great white shark. While a great white boasts a bite force of 4,000 psi, Helicoprion operated at roughly 1,200 psi. Instead of crushing the shell, it relied on sheer sharpness. The spiral jaw acted like a biological pizza cutter. As the jaw closed, the teeth sliced cleanly through the hard shell and the soft squid-like body simultaneously. The rotating motion automatically dragged the soft meat down the predator's throat, while the useless, shattered fragments of the shell were pushed outward and discarded into the water. It was a surgical strike, clean, brutal, and over in a fraction of a second. The terrifying efficiency of Helicoprion wasn't just limited to its hunting, it extended to how it reproduced. Based on evidence from related prehistoric fish and modern analogs, it's highly likely Helicoprion was ovoviviparous. This means the mother didn't lay vulnerable eggs on the ocean floor to be eaten by scavengers. Instead, the eggs hatched inside her womb. But the safety of the womb was an illusion. In many similar shark lineages, embryos develop teeth long before they are born. What happens next is a brutal battle known as intrauterine cannibalism. The strongest, most developed embryos will turn on their unhatched siblings, consuming them to gain vital nutrients. By the time the mother gave birth, she wasn't releasing a helpless fry, she was deploying a miniature battle-tested killer. The moment a baby Helicoprion hit the water, it already possessed a tiny, fully functional spiral saw ready to conquer the depths without a second of parental care. Despite its incredible adaptations, Helicoprion is no longer with us. Yet, it wasn't a failure. In fact, it was one of the most successful predators of its era. It even survived the Great Dying, the catastrophic Permian-Triassic extinction event that wiped out roughly 90% of all marine life on Earth. So why did it eventually vanish? The answer lies in the danger of overspecialization. Helicoprion was a master of hunting shelled cephalopods, but as the oceans changed and new ecosystems emerged, those specific types of prey began to decline in certain regions. Helicoprion had engineered a jaw that was absolutely perfect for one specific job, but clumsy for hunting smaller, faster, or differently shaped prey. It was like owning the world's most advanced floppy disk drive in an era of cloud computing. Today, the closest living relatives of Helicoprion aren't the great sharks, but the strange deep-water ratfish known as chimeras. They are the quiet, unassuming cousins of a forgotten dynasty. But the legacy of the spiral saw remains.